In this question, we're told that there are 30 students in Mr. Lear's class, and 16 of the students are boys. We're told that 2 students from the class are chosen at random. Mr. Lear draws this probability tree diagram to represent this information. Now in part A, we're asked to write down one thing that is wrong with the probabilities in the probability tree diagram. So looking at the diagram, for the first student we can see that the probability of choosing a boy is 16 over 30, and therefore the probability of choosing a girl is 14 over 30. And looking at the diagram so far, that seems to make sense. But then when we look at the second student, we can see that the denominator for all of these are 30. Since we're told that 2 students from the class are chosen at random, it means that the denominator for the second student would be out of 29 and not 30. And so we can say that one thing that is wrong with the probabilities in the probability tree diagram is that the denominator for the second student must be out of 29, not 30. And now this answer will get us the 1 mark needed for this question. But there's also another thing that you could have written. If we take another look at the diagram, we can see that there's another mistake, which we also could have written in order to get that 1 mark. We can see here that it says 15 over 30 and 14 over 30, but this doesn't add up to 1, when it should. 15 over 30 plus 14 over 30 will only give 29 over 30. And then the same thing happens below. We have 16 over 30 and 13 over 30, and adding these up, we'll get 29 out of 30 instead of 30 out of 30. And so in our answer, we could have written that the probabilities for the second student do not add up to 1, and that's something that's wrong with the probabilities in the tree diagram. But since the question only asks for one thing that is wrong, we don't need to write down both. As long as we have either answer, we'll still get the 1 mark needed for part A. In part B, we're told that Owen and Wasim play for the school football team, and the probability that Owen will score a goal in the next match is 0.4, and the probability that Wasim will score a goal in the next match is 0.25. Mr. Slater says the probability that both boys will score a goal in the next match is 0.4 plus 0.25, and now we need to answer whether or not Mr. Slater is correct. Now a general rule in probability is that AND equals multiply, and OR equals add. And what this means is that if we're looking for the probability that X and Y happens, we multiply the probabilities of X and Y. But if we're looking for the probability that X or Y happens, we add the probabilities of X and Y. So now Mr. Slater says that the probability that both boys will score a goal in the next match is 0.4 plus 0.25. But we know that this isn't correct, because the probability that both boys will score a goal means that Owen will score a goal and Wasim will score a goal. And so in order to find the probability that both boys will score a goal, we need to do 0.4 multiplied by 0.25, not 0.4 plus 0.25. And so we can write this down in our answer box below. And so this answer will get us the 1 mark needed to get full marks for part B.